Good morning, 6320ers. It's Beth again. I just thought I would make another short video, just overviewing the teacher training plan as you start your work with it this week. I know many of you probably already dived in to that project, but I just want to give an overview of what Dr. Clinton and I were considering and would like to see in this project and our overall goal for you. So the goal of this project is to really for you to get a sense of what good technology professional development is. I know many of us have participated in technology professional development. Maybe some of us have even led it. And so we really want to dive in and really think about what makes a good one. And what components are not only for teachers but other stakeholders also, and what their purpose is in the training, and how all of those pieces work together. Because as we've been talking in class, technology planning isn't just about one piece; it's about how all the pieces come together. So in this assignment, what we want you to do is to do some interviews, okay? And so what we want to get you outside the walls of your role, whatever that role is, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a media specialist, whatever your role is in your environment, we want you to step outside of that role. So some of us are tailoring this project. If you can't find an administrator, a department head, somebody that's outside of your content area, a grade level lead, another grade level lead, so that you can get different perspective than what you currently have. I think a lot of times inside buildings we can get ourselves into a bubble and we only know our world and what's happening inside our classroom and what's happening inside our department, but we don't really get a good sense of everything. And so that's what this project is trying to do. So you're going to talk to 3 people outside of your bubble, okay? A teacher, an administrator, and a technology specialist is a good starting place to think. But if those people aren't available to you, think about somebody outside of your bubble that can give you a good sense of what professional development with technology is like at your school, or what it could be like at your school. So this conversation, these are general questions. Listen, don't be boxed into these questions. Let the conversation go where it wants to go, where you can find out as much information as possible. So these are suggestions. So what kind of professional development do you like? What works for you? What should be covered? How should it be presented? What's the process? What resources? Those are good guidelines to start the conversation, but let this go how you want it to go. Depending on your situation, maybe you just had a professional development, maybe you're about to. I know that this time of the year is at a time when there's in-service days coming up. Maybe that would make a good opportunity to kind of debrief from one of those experiences. So let the conversation go where you want it to go, okay? Now, after the interviews, you're going to create a reflection, okay? Once again, I'm not looking for an academic paper here. I need your voice. I need your thoughts about what you have learned from this discussion or what you're thinking about. So, once again, provide a description of your school, your district. Where is this conversation situated in, right? So what is going on and what's feeding the conversation? So if it was the day after an in-service, give me that information, because that's valuable for me to understand how that conversation was shaped. If you're rolling out a new LMS and that's the training that you were discussing, situated inside of that introduction. Description of your findings. Tell me what you found, and how you think their perspective shaped their responses. So because they're outside of your bubble, you have to think about what their experiences are outside of your bubble, outside of your experiences, and why would that shape your shape their responses, okay? Because remember, as we plan teacher training and plan professional development, we really have to consider our audience and making sure that we meet the needs of all of our learners or our whole audience. And so this description of your findings is an opportunity for you to really think about that. And how does that shape their responses? Now, going further, MED students, based on your perspective, evaluate what the PD is going on in your school. Is it good, and why? Does it need improvement, and why? And what would you do? So provide some evidence from your own experience and the perspective of the person that you're interviewing. If your school is rocking it out, tell me why it's rocking it out, both from your perspective and the person that you interview, the people that you interviewed. What's going on? What's making it awesome? If it's not, and something isn't working, tell us why that's the case, and what evidence do you have from both places to prove that. EDS students, we're going to take it a step further. So you're going to describe how you would design a professional development. So why did I do all this stuff before, Beth, if I'm going to just design a professional development? Well, you did all of that interviewing before so that you could understand how to design for your audience. You can understand their needs, and you can understand what they need you to do to help them learn better and help them accept that technology. Remember, it's all all these pieces are moving. So you have to understand your culture. If your culture is not accepting to technology, that's something you have to deal with in your professional development. If your teachers need more training, more understanding how to use it, if there's what is there. So you needed all of that background in order to design this technology development. So now that you have that information, I want you to develop and describe how you would develop that professional development, much like what we did in class with the Lunch and Learns, right? What is your objective? What's going to be the format? And what's your content? And then what's your timeline? How are you going to present this information, okay? Now, this can be kind of overwhelming, EDS students, because you could think, well, I might want to develop like a professional development series, right? As opposed to Lunch and Learn like we did in class. You can choose whichever way you want to go, but don't feel like if you've designed, or you have in mind to design a series, that you've got to write 20 pages about that series. Just provide an overview of what you see that looking like, and what the timeline is for that. So are there going to be multiple PDs? Are they going to be presented in different ways? That type of thing, okay? And then you have the evaluation skill here. Overall, this is just, once again, another opportunity for you to consider how all of these moving pieces come together when you are planning technology. So it's more than just the training. You have to go back to what we did the very beginning of this semester, and understanding your school culture, and then understanding how that affects your teachers and the stakeholders that are in there and what their views are. And then from there, you have to remember what you talked about in your needs assessment and why this training is important, and then develop the training from there. So it's much like planning our class, planning a class when we teach. Understanding our students, understanding what they need, and then designing from there how to help them learn those standards. I have talked 3 minutes longer than I wanted to on this video, but I hope that this has been helpful in wrapping your mind around this project. As always, you know my email. Any questions you have, please email them straight my way, and I will see what I can do to help. And I hope you guys all have an awesome week.